good to see you again. Welcome back to Future Fiber. This is your host Jenny, and this is a channel where I talk about all the crafty things I do. It's mostly knitting at this point. Today we have podcast episode number 14, I believe. Admittedly, I didn't get a ton of knitting done in the past 2 weeks because I was away for a weekend at a friend's wedding, and I was also making a dress. If you are on Instagram, you might have seen some progress of me making that, but I'll insert some photos here of me wearing the dress in question. And that ate up quite a bit of my time, and it also feels like it was more than just a week ago that happened. But anyways, so not a ton of knitting updates, but I think there's enough interesting things that you would get enjoyment out of, hopefully. I don't know. I don't have any finished objects this week. I think this is actually the first episode of my podcast that I don't have a finished object in, and I don't know what that says about me. That probably just doesn't say anything, but it's just interesting to note for me. I have a lot of work in progress, and of course I don't have any acquisition. I think I'm going to start kind of backwards today. Normally I give updates on like what I was working on, then I try to go into like the newer cast-ons, I think. Or I don't really have structure, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to start with what I'm planning to knit on, because I think it's important to give you all this information in the beginning rather than at the end, because I am actually planning on joining a knit along for the first time in my life, and I'm pretty excited about it. So the friends at Unit are hosting the Florencia knit along, which is a design that was originally published in Line of 14, and I actually do have the book here with me. And the Florencia is a knit t-shirt, and it features this triangle lace motif all throughout the t-shirt. And this is something that I was meaning to knit from Line of 14. Admittedly, I bought these and I didn't knit any designs from the line, and I have 4 volumes. So it was about high time that I knit one of these. And so it was really good timing that the team at Unit reached out to me and was like, hey girl, you want to join the knit along? And I said, sure. And they're graciously sending me a kit from their shop. They have 3 different kits available with 3 different yarns. So if you want to, I'll leave the link down below if you want to go check them out and buy a kit to get you started. If you don't have the yarns that would suffice for that pattern. I do have a 50% off coupon as well for this pattern on Ravelry. I can leave the instructions down below so that you can, while you get the pattern and you get started and you join the Ravelry project, and or post your work in progress and finished object on Instagram with the hashtag, I think, Florencia KAL. And also because I already have a copy of this pattern, I asked the team at Unit if we could do a little giveaway of the pattern to you guys. So how this will work is just leave a comment down below, and I will draw the winners and announce it in a community post here on YouTube as well as Instagram. And the giveaway will run for a week from the upload of this video. A little bit more information about the knit along. It started on July 14th as of filming. This is July 22nd, and it's going to go up until, I believe, August 31st. So we have, you know, a month and a half-ish to kind of work on it. And I do think it'll knit up pretty quickly because I did swatch. You know, I don't really swatch. But I was, while I'm waiting for the kit that the team over at Unit are sending me, I just knitted up a swatch because I did have the yarn that I will be using. And then the yarn that I'll be using is Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the colorway Soft Blue, I believe. But so I have used Cotton Merino before, so I have a, you know, I have a little bit of it left over, so I decided to start swatching. Okay, so this is a PSA for me. Maybe if your ability to count is not hindered by alcohol, maybe swatch while drinking, but I tried to do that the first time around. I was, you know, I had a couple drinks and I was like, it sounds like a great idea to start swatching. And it was not the greatest idea because like, what is this? Like my triangles are not triangles. I read the chart wrong on every single row and then I couldn't like correct myself. But then I still finished casting off for some reason. It was a wild time. So that was a fail. And this is not enough for me to do anything with. So I re-swatched this morning. And now my triangles, they are triangling. They really do be triangling like that. So like, I'm excited now to work with this versus like this guy. Listen, I don't know. Okay, so the original pattern, I believe, calls for 3.5 millimeter needles for the body, which is where, you know, the eyelet lace designs are, and then 3.25 for the ribbing. But I did the opposite. Well, I didn't do the opposite. I just knit the whole thing in 3.25 because I think I've said in the past that I'm a pretty loose knitter. So I already knew going into this, and I've worked with cotton merino before, that my gauge wasn't going to be necessarily the best if I went too big of a needle size. So I was like, all right, let's start at 3.25 and see where it goes. And I believe I hit gauge. Even that, I feel like it's a little bit see-through through the stockinette, but it's going to be a summer shirt, so it's not really that big of a deal. And the fabric it creates is really drapey, and I feel like it's going to be pretty breezy, so I'm excited. And it didn't really take that long for me to knit this much. And this is like a bigger swatch than I normally knit. So I think this is going to go pretty fast as a knit. It is a bottom-up construction, and then you like knit the sleeve separately, and then you knit the body separately, and then you join them at the round, and then you like do the raglan decreases up. And I've never done that construction, so it's going to be interesting for me to try doing that, which was admittedly it was one of those reasons why I like held off on like knitting this garment, I think, because I generally prefer top-down construction, but it's going to be a challenge. And I've had other, you know, things that I wanted to knit that were using that construction, and I've just like kept putting it off because I didn't want to learn how to do it. So this will be a good smaller kind of project for me to do that, rather than like something like, I was thinking of like the Jenny jacket. Being my name be Jenny, I feel like I do need to make it at some point. Jenny jacket by Petit Knit. But yeah, that's also the same way where you like knit the bottom, the body, and then you knit the sleeve separately, and then you join up. And yeah, I think I'd rather try and learn that construction with this pattern, which is a little bit simpler and smaller, than trying to do it on a jacket for the first time. So that was why I decided to ultimately say yes to joining the knit along. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this. I'm pretty excited to start, and I feel like this might actually wrap up like my summer knitting, as far as like t-shirts and like tanks go, because I don't really have any more yarn that I can use for summer knitting. So that will be that, and anything else that's on my needles right now. I think that's going to be a wrap up for my summer. So we'll see how it goes. In the spirit of things that I just cast on, rather than give you an update of what I've been working on, I want to show you this. What is this, you may ask? It is the beginnings of a bucket hat, and this is crochet. I just did the top right now, so now I gotta build the side, and then we can work on the brim. I did this in like 30 minutes, which is pretty great for me, so I'm going to do the rest of this probably today, and I'll have a bucket hat to wear. I'm not really a hat girl. Like, I don't really look good in hats. I don't know. It's something about the length of the face, and then the length of the head, and then the hats. So I've been meaning to make a bucket hat, but I was like, do I have the right yarn for it? Then I found this yarn. I believe this is Wool in the Gang Shiny Happy Cotton. I've used this yarn a couple times before because I had a kit that I bought from them that was like a cardigan and then like a little tank top set, and then I never made that. Instead, I made a April cardigan out of some of the yarn, and then I've made bunch of other little trinkets, usually crochet with the rest of it, and now I have enough, hopefully, to make a bucket hat. I'm going to be doing contrast kind of, not stripes, they're like triangle shapes. I'll post a photo here, but this is I have a friend who's really into BTS, and I like came across this photo of V from BTS wearing this hat, and then so I was like, oh, that might make a nice gift for her, but then I want to like prototype it on myself before I like make something for somebody else. So that's why I'm doing this, and then she's going to get the same hat but in like different triangle color. So hopefully this works out and it's not ugly. I'm winging this pattern from like 4 different YouTube tutorials right now, so I don't really have anything to tell you in terms of like what I'm basing this off of specifically. But yeah, it's going to be a journey and an adventure, and hopefully it's not going to look like poo-poo. Oh, dude, I keep forgetting to talk about what I'm wearing because I don't know, I'm so excited to get started. But today I am wearing, I think I worn this on a podcast before actually, but this is the Cumulus tee by Petite Knit. Let me get up to show you. I'm wearing it with some high-waisted pants. Yeah. This is knit up with a Color Mart silk yarn that I've used in a couple of other projects. And yeah, it's nice. I knit it last year. I have a little bit more information in one of my I think it's my like everything I knit in 2022 video. I talk a little bit more about this, but I think this is going to be a good comparison piece to what I'm going to be talking about with my updates to the Moonset tee by Ozetta. So this is my like similar utility knit for this year. Last year I knit the Cumulus tee. This year I decided I was thinking about, I originally bought this yarn to knit another version of the Cumulus tee, but then I was reminded of the pain and angst of me knitting this knit, and then I didn't want to do that anymore, so I bought a new pattern and started knitting the Moonset tee, and we're almost there to the end of, what is this, the body. I have like 3 more centimeters to go. It's been painful, I'm not even gonna lie, but I think it's, I don't want to say painful, because like I think I have a tendency to be very impatient with my knitting, and I just want the final product rather than like enjoying the process of it. And like first couple like rows of mindless stockinette are fun and good and whatever, but then you get to like the, you know, the 87th row and you're kind of like, oh. And like, I know I'm just being like very end result minded sometimes, so I like try and slow down. It's like, you don't need this like ASAP, bro. Like you can just take your time on it, and nobody's going to chase you down in the street and ask if you've finished knitting the body of your Moonset tee. But I don't know, I'm just excited to be done with the body of it, and then the sleeves I think will go pretty pretty fast. So that's why I'm like being kind of impatient on it. But I was actually talking about this with somebody else on Instagram, where I posted a progress picture, I think, of the Moonseti, and then somebody was like, yeah, I'm like knitting on the body right now and it's like kind of painful. And they also had the same sentiment where they also knit the Cumulus tee, and then they said that they found the Moonset tee to be a little bit less painful than the Cumulus tee. And I was like, I feel the same way. Why do I feel like that? And I think it's because Cumulus tee is like, because it's raglan, like you're knitting so many stitches at once, flat, back and forth for so long without you really changing up the knitting section, I guess, so to speak. So I'm sure it takes just as long, but mentally, like it felt like the Moonset tee grew in the yoke part a lot quicker than the Cumulus tee for me. And that's because this is drop shoulder, right? So, and it's got different things in the back here with this additional neckline detail that you have a little bit more things that you need to do to like it gives you a little bit more brain stimulation than just like back and forth raglan increase. So that's why I kind of feel like this went, I also agree that this went a little bit quicker for me than, and it kept my interest a lot more than this Cumulus tee. I'm not done with this yet, so I can't tell you what I prefer in terms of like the finished object final result. But yeah, I can already tell that I like the neckline depth of the Moonset tee more than this one. This is not bad, you know? It's not, I don't feel hashtag exposed. But I do this a lot throughout the day while wearing the shirt. So I just wish it was a little bit less deep. I think I could probably solve that problem if I, you know, redid the I-cord a little bit and then just like made it a little tighter. But you know, I'm not going to do that. I won't do that. So yeah, this was kind of like a hybrid update on the Moonset tee and a review of the Cumulus tee. But yeah, I mean, I like both for different reasons. They're like a similar vibe, but this one is obviously got a little less detail than this one. So, but I think both fit the use case of like, I want to wear a t-shirt that is knit in silk. So, and I can tell that this will have a different drape from this one as well, because this is made from Knitting for Olive pure silk, and this is made from the color Maed silk is not like, I believe it's not like the ethical kind of silk where apparently the Knitting for Olive is, where like they let the bugs like hatch out of the cocoons and they like harvest the silk and then make it that way. So you might get a little bit more joins in like the silk, and so it feels a little bit more fuzzy than sleek like this one, because this is like one continuous fiber that's being spun. So the drape and the feel, the hand of the fabric is a little bit different, but I don't know. I think both are fine and good, and I'm excited to have this. Hopefully next podcast episode I can show you the finished version of this t-shirt and give you a more in-depth like worn post-wearing review. I don't know. I'm just excited to have this. And my go-to outfit of tank top, button-down, shorts is becoming almost too hot now to wear as we go into the depths of summer, where that extra layer of tank top is like just too hot for me. And I'm not really a tank top without outer layer wearing girly, so a t-shirt is going to be more appropriate for my summer knit pretty soon. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to finish this. I'm going to try and get the body done today. Wish me luck, everybody. I think my next big update that I will talk about is my MiuMiu inspired cardigan. Last time I think I showed you that I joined one of the fronts to the side, and I started casting on, wait, I did cast on the other front panel, the right front panel. And I'm almost at the point where I need to start decreasing for the armholes, and it's looking pretty good. I love working with this because it goes so fast. The combination of the yarn thickness, this is like worsted weight, worsted weight yarn. This is from Hobbii. It's gifted, it's the Ferns wool. And this is the Drops, not Lima, not Alaska. Oh, the white is Drops Nepal. So the weight makes it go super, super fast. And I've been knitting all these summer knits that are like teeny tiny needles. And then so like switching to this is like a breath of fresh air because like the sections just grow. And also the color switching, I'm like, if I start on the blue garter section, I'm like, I gotta knit until I get to the eyelets. And then I do the color switch on the eyelets and I'm like, oh, I should just start on the next blue section, and I just keep going. So this is really fast of a knit, and I really like this pattern as well. I might see if I want to maybe without the color change. I think like having this like eyelet, not garter, maybe it'll be stockinette and eyelet. But I do want to incorporate that into another like knit that I do maybe in the fall. I know there's a pattern that I've been meaning to knit for a little bit. It's the it's by Milena Polina. I think it's pronounced Majsa. It's the Majsa sweater. I just ran Google Translate on it to see how to pronounce it, and then it told me that it's corn in Swedish, which I'm obsessed with. But it's like an all over kind of like eyelet drop shoulder sweater, and it looks really cute, and I am kind of excited to knit it, and I've been meaning to knit it for a little bit, so I think I will do that in the fall. But with what yarn, I don't know. We got on a tangent there. Okay, so this cardigan, working on the front, gonna do the armholes, and then let me show you what I did to the, I think last time I also talked about like how I basically screwed up the front and cast on too many stitches. And then I was thinking about steeking out some of the width. I did do that. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is not like fully done because I didn't do the cutting part yet because I got scared. But I can show you what I did here. It's not, I didn't do the best job, but I didn't do the worst job. And that's my motto for everything. Okay. So I added this button band, which you can tell. So, and then if you, this is so hard to show, but if you, maybe I should post a video of it, but if you flip it around, you can tell where I've kind of steeked or like secured the stitches down. This is the crochet, single crochet that I did. And then this is the extra fabric, and then you turn it around and that's the button band. So there's things in knitting where I like have an idea and then I'm like, I think that'll work. And then I'll execute and it works. And I'm like, damn, I can't believe that worked. This is like another one of those things where I'm like, dang, this is, I didn't need to frog it. And it like pretty much looks good, and it didn't turn out disastrous, and I just got to do the cutting part, and then we'll be home free if it doesn't unravel. And I don't think it will unravel because it's 100% wool, all of it. I think it'll be okay, but to be extra sure, I'm going to dunk this guy in some water before so I can give it a little bit more like time for it to stick to itself, you know? And then I'll cut it. And I think we'll be okay. And, you know, if I was a perfectionist, I would be like, it didn't take me that long to knit the panel. I could just re-knit the front panel, but then the chaos in me says not to do that. So I don't know, you know, I did it, and it's like, now that I know that I can do it if I need to ever again. Hopefully not, but hopefully I will never make a mistake this big again. Well, it's not that big of a mistake, but you know what I mean. I can't believe that worked. It's pretty sick. And then this button band is just garter, up and up and up. And I don't know, I had to do the button band twice because I picked up too many stitches the first time, and it was looking like really wavy, looking like a lettuce leaf. So I had to like undo it and pick up half as many stitches, and then I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget how many stitches I picked up because I didn't write it down anymore, and then I'm not going to count it before I do the second button band, and I'm going to have to just learn from my mistakes, and that's just how it goes. So, you know, this is speeding along, and I think the next big obstacle for this particular sweater will be doing the sleeves and making sure the patterns match up as I like knit up the sleeves, and then we'll figure out how that goes. I might have to also knit the sleeves bottom up. That will be the wiser thing to do. We'll see if I actually do that though. It's fine. It's not heart surgery, so it's good. It's okay if I mess up. All right, we have some other progresses, right? Like we have some other works that were in progress before, but I'm not going to really show them to you because I didn't make any progress. I didn't work on the Beyond Basic sweatshirt. I didn't work on my I didn't work on my Olang sweater vest. I didn't work on my Oslo hat. And instead I cast on another tank top. Let's talk about this next cast on, because I basically cast this on in a fever dream. This is the beginnings. It's very wrinkled, but this is the beginnings of the Summer Secret Crop by Jessie Maed Designs, featuring my cat hair. There you go. Goodbye, pepper hair. I've had this pattern. I mean, it's a free pattern. Everybody's knitted it basically at this point, and I don't know. I decided I needed to do that. This was more of a me wanting to cast something on new cast on rather than anything super planned. I did talk about like what I wanted to do with the Summer Secret Crop pattern in my sleeveless top video, and I am attempting to do that right now, which is basically that oh my god, I need to stop knitting on this. I can't multitask. I have some yarn left over from knitting my square neck camisole, and I knit that guy up with this sock yarn from King Cole. I think it's King Cole Summer Sock 4-ply is what it's called, and I have bought 3 balls of that black yarn, and I only needed like 1.5 balls to make the square neck camisole. And that one is like pretty full length. That's ribbed, so it did use up. It's like decent bit of yarn. So I think I have the half ball and then a full ball of this yarn left. So I'm definitely going to be able to make one Summer Secret Crop with this yarn. So I'm not worried about like how much yarn I have. It's gonna be okay, I think. Prayers. No yarn chicken here today. And then what I'm trying to do is, first of all, this is off gauge because the original pattern calls for either like fingering weight yarn in like a very big needle so that you get a very lightweight fabric, or you use a single strand of DK yarn. I did not have DK yarn and I didn't want to see through fabric, so what I did here was, this is 3.5 millimeter needles and fingering weight yarn. And you can tell that it's like slightly sheer, but you can't really see through it. And I think it also helps that the yarn is black. So I am knitting this off gauge. I'm knitting a size, it's either a large or an extra large, and I'm expecting this guy to turn out more like a medium is the intention. I didn't really swatch, so who knows. But then I like kind of put this up against my body and I was like, all right, that's enough. And I wanted it to have a little bit of more ease, so I'm hoping it'll turn out more like a medium than a small, but if it doesn't, you know, that's God's plan for me. And what do I have to say about this guy? The details that are different is that the bottom, I did not do ribbing. The original plan, I believe, calls for 1x1 ribbing. You can tell that this is more of a folded hem. I knitted it and then I folded it up and then I knit it together before I continued on the stockinette, and I did a terrible job of knitting together. So I don't know if you can tell from this view. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you can see that the stitches are slanted. That's because I did a bad job of picking up the stitches. I'm not going to redo it though. It's black yarn. You probably wouldn't have noticed until I told you. And it's going to be at the bottom of my shirt anyways. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to knit all the way up. And I don't think I'm going to make a ton of changes to the rest of it other than the finishes for the armhole and then the neckline. I want to do in either I-cord or double knitting. I haven't decided yet. I feel like it has to be double knitting to kind of match the folded up bit. But I'm honestly like really bad at double knitting, so like we'll see where we go with that. I think double knitting does make more sense because I also want the straps to be not super skinny. Who knows? It's an adventure. We'll get there and we'll decide. Just like how I order my food at restaurants. Like I always wait for the waitress or server to come to me and I'll make everybody else on the table go. And then I'll like just blurt out whatever comes to my mind. And that's usually my method of ordering food and picking a knitwear trim method. Very cool and fun. This didn't take long. This is going really fast. I think I said in the past many praises about this yarn, but I will praise them again because I really do like this yarn. I feel like it doesn't split very much for being cotton, and it's really easy to work with because it also has a little bit of a stretchiness, springiness to it, so it doesn't feel like you're working with like stiff cotton. And then the weight of the yarn also helps because this is fingering weight. So all of that combined makes for a very nice summer garment. And I've had no problems with my square neck camisole that I knit up with this yarn. And I really do want to get this in other colors, but their other colors are kind of ugly, so I might just get a bunch of this in like black and white, and then like maybe I'll try dyeing the white. So yeah, and this is really affordable too, I believe, so many praises. You can buy it on like Wool Warehouse. A little pitch for that. Exciting. So I think the order of operation for the next 2 weeks for me is going to be itch break. My main priority is going to be the moonset tee. Just get that guy finished so that I can wear it. And then once I do that, I will cast on the Florencia tee whenever that comes in the mail. And then I'm going to be, kind of working on my cardigan, MiuMiu cardigan, kind of on and off. whenever I feel bored of stock knit. And then, yeah. I think that's pretty much how my next couple of weeks are gonna go. And then pick up any other, and then I'll think about the other work in progress. I don't know, I just don't really feel like knitting like super bulky sweaters right now, so that's why I'm in a very summery mood. And every time I wear a summer knit, I'm like, damn, I wish I had more summer knits. So that's where we're at. So hopefully I'll have some more exciting things to show you next time, and exciting FO for me. If I am wearing that next podcast, that means all went well. If I'm not wearing that, that means something went like a disaster happened, a meteorite struck, and then I couldn't work on my knitting, which would be unfortunate for me and you, but mostly for me. Another reminder for you to go check the description box below for that 50% off coupon on the Florencia tee, and more details about if you want to join the KAL. All the goody stuffy. Thanks to team Unit for working with me. And yeah. Hope you guys are staying cool in the heat. Working on whatever sweater types, summer knit types that you like working on. And I'll see you guys in next week's episode, which is going to be a fun one. See you later. Bye.